If you never worked with wafer paper, this tutorial is for you. I will teach you how to make beautiful textural wafer paper anemone. And to make our anemone flower, we will need wafer paper. For this tutorial, I'm using 0.30mm wafer paper, which has two sides. One side is bumpy and the other side is smooth. For this specific tutorial, I'm going to use bumpy side of my wafer paper. And I will start with transferring my template onto my wafer paper. I will draw my petals and cut my wafer paper using a sharp pair of scissors. For this flower, I will need 5 large petals, 3 medium size and 3 small petals. Now, to make our petals flexible, I'm going to wire my petals. To wire my wafer paper petals, I'm going to use 28 gauge wire and I'm cutting it in 4 smaller pieces. And I will need my wafer paper glue. Wafer paper glue is basically just scraps of wafer paper melted in water, and I will link the recipe in the description. Because I want to use the bumpy side of wafer paper as the face side of my petal, I will apply my wire on the back side. And it is very easy to do. I'm dipping my brush into wafer paper glue, adding just a touch onto my petal on the shiny side, and applying a little bit more to make sure that my wire is stuck to my wafer paper. And I will set it aside to dry completely before shaping our petals. Now that my petals are wired and completely dry, I'm going to bring my AC Tonic, which is glycerin-based conditioner that I'm applying onto all my wafer paper petals. And I will use a flat brush and of course my favorite peony veiner that has this beautiful texture to add onto all of my petals. And veining wafer paper is very easy. I'm going to take my brush, saturate with my wafer paper conditioner and apply a thin layer onto my wafer paper petal on both sides. Like this, making sure that my petal becomes very soft and flexible and I can place it into my veiner. Now I'm going to place it down and press with another half of my veiner. If your wafer paper is too sticky, you can apply a thin layer of cornstarch before placing your petal into a veiner. But I find that for my environment right now, I don't need any cornstarch to create this beautiful texture on my wafer paper petals. And I will place it on a petal former like this to dry, and I will do the same treatment to all my petals. And to make my center, I will take a piece of wire. This is 20 gauge wire, and I will create kind of like an umbrella shape at the top, like this, to create a base for my wafer paper. Now, I will take just a scrap piece of wafer paper, it doesn't have to be anything specific, and I will use my wafer paper glue. And I'm applying my glue onto my wafer paper to soften it. And I will start shaping my center, bringing my wafer paper in, and I will add more wafer paper glue if I need to, and add my wire in the middle. So I will bend my wafer paper over my wire. So now I have this shape. So here's my center, is completely dry. Let's make stamens and assemble everything together. Because I'm making an anemone and the centers and stamens are black, I'm going to use black gel color with a touch of my wafer paper conditioner to color it. Also, to get this texture on my center, I will need my pollen mixture. And to make my pollen mixture, I mixed Semolina with dark petal dust. I use chocolate, but you can use any darker shade, with a touch of black gel color and my AC Tonic to make it more paintable. My goal is to make my center sticky so I can apply my pollen mixture. I will paint this dark black color onto my dry wafer paper center and apply my pollen mixture on all sides. Like this, so you can see these beautiful textures on my center. And I will take a piece of wafer paper about 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch wide and maybe 3 to 4 inches or 10 centimeters in length. I will take my mixture and I will start painting on one side of my wafer paper first. And I will do the same on the other side. Now, to shape my stamens, I will take my Dresden tool and draw a line 2 millimeters or 1/16 of an inch in and fold it over like this. And I will keep folding it over until all my painted wafer paper is covered. So that's what I have now. And the last step is I will draw another line in the middle and fold it over on itself like this. This is the base for our stamens, and I will take a pair of small scissors and cut my stamens to separate them from each other. That's what I have now. And to attach that to my center, I will bring my wafer paper glue back. I will start with painting the white part of my wafer paper with the wafer paper glue to soften it. And I will bring my center and start assembling my stamens around my center. Okay, now all I need to do is to pinch everything together and adjust the placement of my stamens to my liking. Now is the fun part. Let's dust our petals. I'm using light pink color. And to dust my petals, I'm going to scrape my color on the outside of the petal, like this, to create a visual separation when we are going to assemble our flower together. And now we have our center, our petals, and I'm going to take a piece of floral tape to assemble everything together. Remember, with a floral tape, you need to stretch it very firmly to activate it before attaching your floral tape to your wire. So I will start taping my stem, and I will bring my petals, starting with a smaller one and bending them at a 90-degree angle, placing them in the first layer of my anemone. Then I will do the same with my medium-sized petals, placing them in between of the small ones, like this. And now we have 5 large ones that I'm going to add in the third layer underneath my wafer paper anemone center. Because we have wires in every single petal, you can gently bend your petals and place them exactly where you want your anemone petals to be. And now you know how to make this gorgeous wafer paper anemone. Don't forget to download my template. It's inside my all-in-one wafer paper ebook. And I would suggest you to make this wafer paper anemone first because it's so easy. Or you can learn how to make 36 more decorations inside my book. I will link it in the description, and I cannot wait to see what you create.